Hi, my name is Marroki, and today, me and my partner will be presenting Teen Mental Health Risk Prediction, a proactive machine learning pipeline to shift educational districts from reactive crisis control to early preventative intervention. So, first, let's start off with the introduction and the customer's background. First off, let's start off with who our customer is. The Regional Department of Education, as well as the youth focused mental health advocacy nonprofit. What's our main domain? Adolescent healthcare and wellness. What are some of the challenges? Approximately 50% of all long term mental health problems manifest by the age 14. Early identification is paramount to prevent to prevailing lifelong negative impact on student educational achievement, interpersonal relationships, and future corporate employment. These are just some of the small challenges that are present when it comes to the effects of mental health on teens. Um, some other stuff are the student support services. Those are also affected by that. The school counselors and social workers, as well as the director of data analysis that oversees the pipeline development, student data security as well. The problem that we are solving. The problem definition. The school district is fundamentally blind to the students who are silently developing severe mental health vulnerabilities due to compounding digital lifestyle factors such as extreme social media saturation and acute sleep deprivation until a severe public emotional breakdown occurs. So, for example, based on the study that we picked, this is the current structure. In the study that we picked, we have 1,200 total students. 354 students have visible high risk steer. The stress level was above 8, which was caught by the counselors. However, 846 students are in the blind spot, which are moderate worsening tiers. Those are unmonitored, which account for 70.5%. This is the purely reactive approach that is currently is happening in our youth system. The staff intervention only trigger after a severe psychological or behavioral de- deterioration is already visible. Meaning, if it's not visible, these counselors will not be able to detect it or get ahead of it. The resource exhaustion as well is also a problem because it forces highly concentrated counseling teams to spend their daily hours on high cost emergency crisis management instead of scheduled structured preventions. The institutional risk leads to poor student retention metrics, chronic absenteeism, and long term district liabilities. How are we approaching it? So right here is a small table of how we're approaching it. These are some of the metrics that we approached it. So on here we have the daily social media hours, the sleep hours, the screen time before sleep, academic performance GPA, physical activity hours. We have the value and the range, the data type, as well as the relevance role. From here, some of the discoveries are the programmatic scanning confirmed that 0% missingness rate across all rows and column, eliminating immediate row imputation bias risk. The 1.8 outlier cluster is a tiny subgroup cohort of student logged extreme behaviors, such as over 11 hours of social media or under 3 hours of sleep. These points verified as genuine representation of acute digital addiction, not transcription errors, and are explicitly retained for modeling. The recency window constraint is used to adapt to changing post-pandemic social media algorithm. Historical data older than 24 months is continuously pruned to ensure predictive relevance. And now I'll be passing it to my partner.
Hi, my name is Meeki. For this part, I'm going to talk about the expected business impact. So, what values could these projects bring to the organization? Uh, So these projects are fundamentally shift our district from a reactive crisis model to a proactive care system by making our student blind spot visible. We are targeting a minimum 25% reduction in emergency crisis within the first 2 quarters. The automated system routed at risk profile directly into counselor queue, saving 30% of our counselor time so they can focus on schedules prevention rather than putting out fires. Finally, is deployed silently at the background pipeline inside our existing information system, requiring zero extra administrative work from the educator. And next is ethical considerations. However, when making a model, when modeling sensitive student data, ethical guidelines are paramount. First, to ensure absolute privacy and for compliance, our pipeline run securely inside the school system with access restricted strictly to licensed counselor. And the second, we protect the student from the stigma by running the system silently in the background, giving the educator entirely bright to the risk flag to eliminate any classroom bias. And finally, we enforce a strict human in the loop framework. The AI never diagnoses a student or make a final decision. It simply flag hidden blind spot so that our counselors can step in and apply their clinical judgment where it is needed most. And the next step and project roadmap. Uh, Looking ahead, our strategy is structured across 4 distinct sequential phases designed to take this process from a local model to regional impact. So we begin immediately with the phase 1, spending the first 3 weeks aligning with our chief wellness officer and compliance team to ensure that strict privacy boundaries. And from the 4th to the 8th week, phase 2 focus on technical optimization, where we cross-validate our model to guarantee that we hit our 85% recall safety benchmark. And this prepare us for the phase 3 in fall 2026. Where we will launch the background pipeline live in the single school district, putting the dashboard into counselor hand to target that 25% crisis reduction. And finally, in 2027 and beyond, phase 4 focuses on regional expansion, leveraging our pilot success to secure grant funding and scale this proactive framework across the entire territory. And that's all for our presentation today. Thank you so much for your attention.